All right. How's this working? Okay, I'm just gonna. Is that okay? All right. How's this working? Okay. Cool.
The lamps. Erase Steenslid, Holland's trainer at Dortmund, has joked how the star was always the closest to the buffet and his plate was literally a mountain of food. Alfie, who also played for City, said his son, who was inspired to eat healthily by seeing how it helped superstar Cristiano Ronaldo. He said he was told a story by ex-United player Patrice Evra about a lunch he had with Ronaldo and Cristiano had fish, nothing else. Erling now tries to do the same. The 6'4" striker is also a fan of ice baths and glasses which filter out blue light to help him sleep. So this is presumably where he reveals his secret diet. He's holding this giant fucking, what is that, bro? You know, some secret thing. He looks very, very villainous and mischievous as he's looking at him holding this ancestrally consistent organ shit. And presumably it's just what we talked about.
Dette er ikke du.
Så det er hjertet?
Hjertet.
Somebody in the comment section, please pronounce this.
Hjertet.
Og det spiser du, for her har du leveren.
Leber. Det vet du ikke.
Ja, ja. Det her spiser du.
Ja.
Hyphy, bro. That is the secret diet. You don't even know what goes on behind the scenes to these guys to really optimize their performance. So, you know, why would you want this? Is he becoming some like Liver King follower or, you know, ancestrally consistent biohacking wizard? Or what is the deal? Is there actually utility to this? So this is where I figured it was worthwhile. Well, actually, let's look at the comments first. Maybe we have some interesting insight from the NPMD Titty Gate section. When it's really sunny, I lay out in the yard naked with my knees pulled up to my ears and aim my asshole straight at the sun. I don't know if it boosts my testosterone, but it sure gets the neighborhood a bit wild. Yeah. Sending this to Rashford. Thanks, OP. Look, it's utility either. Like if we have one full heart, are you gonna eat a full heart? You know, probably not, but I mean, let's just put in, it's not that much, let's be honest. So look at this breakdown of micronutrients just from this ounce of beef liver and one heart. You know, we could probably choose like, you know, a cup of heart instead.
To the Antichrist and saying he's only doing it as a selfish means and it's exploitative. Like there is just, we've reached this point where everyone has to be mad about something, no matter how positive it is. It's pretty much a giant fucking parody of civilization at this point when it comes to how Twitter responds to shit. But anyway, he makes this video, he pays for all of these surgeries, and he gets blasted on Twitter for it by a large group of people. I'll just go ahead and bring up probably the biggest tweet that people were talking about. It's this one that talks about it being demonic and not being able to explain why, which is always such a beautiful argument. This thing sucks, but don't ask me why, because I can't explain it. It just does, because everything sucks to me. Fuck everyone and fuck everything. Everything's negative. It's a really great point that they're making here, but anyway, this led to a large discussion and people debating, is it even a good thing what he's done here? So let me weigh in here. You know, here comes Mr. Beast's unpaid PR guy coming out. I think it's a good thing. I think there's a lot of good arguments to be made about the state of medical treatment like this. How 1,000 people could have had life-changing surgery if they were just born wealthier, or if they were a bit luckier with their financials. If they just had a good spawn in life, they could have been able to afford this life-changing treatment and been able to see. But it's been paywalled. and they couldn't afford it. And the only way they were able to get it is because Mr. Beast wanted to make a video out of it. That's a very real problem. But it's a problem Mr. Beast didn't create. He's not the supervillain puppet master behind the scenes making these treatments unaffordable. It's so weird to target him. It seems very misguided instead of going after the actual issue at the core of all of this. The gift of sight shouldn't be something that you have to fucking be lucky enough to afford. Treating vision like some kind of DLC paywall package is so fucking awful. A lot of people criticize this because he made a video out of it saying, well, you could have just done this on your own. Which he could have, and I always agreed that that's a very fine thing to point out. I've always agreed that doing good deeds in private is far more genuine and authentic than doing good deeds for the sake of public brownie points or reputational benefits. A YouTuber making a video giving homeless people money for 12 hours challenge. Impossible. It's like, oh, that's kind of fucking weird. But I've also always maintained the stance of, yeah, the motivation may have been selfish, but those people did get money that is no doubt going to be helpful for them. So it's a good deed done by a less than good person. And the thing with Mr. Beast is, he does do a lot of great shit for his community in private. So when he does do these public displays of doing good things, I never get the impression that it's inauthentic or coming from a place of trying to, you know, capitalize on the back of suffering or anything like that. Like, of course, you can obviously tell it grows his brand, so it is mutually beneficial. Him doing good deeds does also benefit him, maybe not financially, but in terms of, like, subscribers and all of that, it does help him. But both things can be true, that he can be genuinely wanting to help people while it also helping himself. But I feel like Mr. Beast, given his track record, has shown that he does these things to hopefully inspire others, and the money he makes from this content usually goes into other things that help other people, like Mr. Beast philanthropy, for example. So it's always fueling a greater good, regardless. But something that is important to point out is that, yes, it does grow his brand. He benefits from this. Even if it's not financially, he obviously is going to take a huge net loss on this because of the price of these surgeries. His brand does grow from it. But I ask, is that a bad thing? For so long, people have called for positive role models to be the people that are successful and popular. And now you have someone like Mr. Beast, who is the biggest YouTuber, and almost all of his content is focused on improving other people's lives, whether it's directly through financial incentives, through Mr. Beast philanthropy, food kitchens, paying for 1,000 people's eyesight. Isn't that the exact kind of content you would want to be successful? Let's hop into the septic tank and play around in the shit takes for a moment. Let's say Mr. Beast is truly rotten to the core and everything he does is driven for selfish gain, of growing his brand and all of that. No matter how you spin it, 1,000 people in this video just had their lives improved for the better. And let's say other selfishly driven assholes watch this video and they see the amazing amount of views on it, well, they might do the same thing. 1,000 more people get their blindness cured by another YouTuber who wants a ton of views. Also, real quick, Mr. Beast didn't find the cure for blindness. It's not like he was digging in his backyard, found buried treasure, and it was just like this fucking panacea to cure blindness or anything like that. He is paying for surgery that currently exists. Just wanted to quickly clear that up real quick, just in case anyone keeps seeing these headlines and are convinced that Dr. Beast came in here and found some kind of wild blindness cure. But anyway, it doesn't even matter what the motivation behind the videos or the act is, because no matter how you spin it, there is the immutable fact that 1,000 people just had their lives improved for the better. Even if Mr. Beast is the result of a fusion dance between Darth Vader and Doctor Doom, it wouldn't change the fact that 1,000 real people just experienced a very real improvement in their life as a result of them making that video. Which in my opinion is a good thing, and I feel like most people should feel the same way. There's plenty to be mad about with the core problem here, which is these people should have already had access to this treatment without Mr. Beast needing to make a video on it. That I completely agree with. But that doesn't make me mad at Mr. Beast for doing it. That makes me upset at the system that's currently in place enforcing that. That is the issue, not what Mr. Beast has done. And I'm so fucking tired of hearing this term, poverty tourism, tossed around when talking about Mr. Beast. It just shows such a gross misunderstanding of what that even means. To try and slap that label on what Mr. Beast does is so fucking off the mark. The worms in your brain must be suffering from parasites. Like, there is so much wrong in your noodle to possibly even think for a second this could be considered poverty tourism. You know what is poverty tourism, and something that a lot of YouTubers have done and is exploitative, is the people that go to, like, when Phidias went to the poorest country in the world, and just showcasing, oh, look at how poor they are, and treating everyone there like props for his own video. That's poverty tourism, and I will fully agree that there are cases of people trying to emulate Mr. Beast, like the example I just used, Phidias, and just completely missing the mark and ending up making a video where it's just, hey, look at all these poor people. Wow, they're so poor. Can you believe they're that poor? Maybe we should do something? Like, that's an issue. Yeah, that content sucks. I don't support that. Fucking nobody supports that. When Phidias posted that video, he got dunked on by everyone on the internet. It's not something people like. But what Mr. Beast does, I think, is very far removed from poverty tourism. Now, there is one very legitimate complaint directly at Mr. Beast that I will agree with, and it's the thumbnail. The thumbnail is weird. I definitely think this is one of Mr. Beast's weirdest thumbnails here. It's like alarming, almost. Like, there's like 1,000 words told in this single picture here, and none of them make any sense. So yeah, I think the thumbnail is very odd. But yeah, thumbnail aside, I think what he's done is a good thing, obviously. And I don't really know how you can even justify through mental gymnastics why it's bad and why you hate him for it. It just doesn't really compute with me. What you're actually mad about is an issue he had nothing to do with. Again, I don't think people should have to rely on a YouTuber looking to make a big video in order to get life-changing surgery. That is the issue. It's not so much the YouTuber that pays for that surgery. That I think is just, no matter how you spin it, a good thing for the person. I'm really tired of people speaking on others' behalf, getting offended for other people that they're not involved with and they don't know. I've seen a lot of people attribute feelings to the 1,000 people in these videos saying, man, they must feel so used and exploited. They must feel so violated that Jimmy used them here for a viral video. Well, I'm gonna make a counterpoint. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you know them? Huh? Was that you in the video? Your family member? Your friend? I doubt it. Highly doubt it. How are you gonna speak for them? How are you gonna be mad for them and try and tell everyone what they were likely experiencing? I would wager a guess they were experiencing a high level of happiness. I bet they were thrilled to have eyesight. Would be my guess. So yeah, anyway, that's really my take on the whole situation. I think this drama is one of the sadder ones I've seen in quite some time, because I feel like this is just something most people should be celebrating. Like, hey, the biggest YouTuber is doing good things, as opposed to degenerate shit, like most people online. I think that's something to be happy about. There's 1,000 people whose lives have just been improved. I think that's a good thing. Like, I think that's a big thumbs up. There are issues you can talk about as a result of this, and there is a really good discussion to be had about like the actual core thing regarding the surgery and the cost of these kind of procedures. I think that's a good conversation to have, but I don't know why it comes back to Mr. Beast being a bad guy for paying for the surgery. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. That's about it. So yeah. I've never been a huge believer in fate or destiny, that people's lives follow a predetermined path that they're forced to go down. I've never really subscribed to that belief until recently. I think there are people out there that are just born to be losers. Just like a joke of a person that follows this trajectory of the most pathetic path possible. I'm talking specifically about one man that I've made multiple videos on now, named Billy Mitchell, the self-proclaimed video game player of the century, a lame-ass title that he pretty much gave himself because he had some high scores in some old video games, most notably his King of Kong score, the high score in Donkey Kong, which he cheated for. I know that's a dangerous word to be talking about in the same sentence as Billy, because he is so litigious. He sues everyone who accuses him of cheating or even makes fun of him in relation to cheating. He even tried to sue Cartoon Network because his feelings got hurt when there was a villain in the regular show that bears a resemblance to him who blows up when he loses his high score in a video game. And he got so offended, this sensitive nematode got so fucking upset about it that he tried suing Cartoon Network and subsequently got laughed out of court for it. So not only is he so pitiful that he fakes his video game high scores, but he also is an insufferable douchebag who legally comes after anyone that makes jokes about him or talks about him in a bad light, and he fails to realize that the person that does the most damage to his reputation is himself for these absolute childish tantrums that he throws. He is a known cheater. There are mountains upon mountains of evidence against him. There is more evidence to confirm Billy Mitchell has cheated than there is evidence to confirm the sun is hot. He is a fucking cheater. But even if you want to disregard all of the evidence that currently exists, Carl Jobst recently made an amazing breakdown of new evidence that just surfaced that 100% confirms that he has cheated his scores. The video is amazing. Carl Jobst, I recently made a video on about Billy Mitchell because he is being sued by Billy not once but twice. One of them because he used a meme that insinuated Billy is a cheater. It's beyond comical at this point, but now all of that seems like it's going to be completely washed. You can just wipe your ass with the lawsuit at this point with the new evidence that surfaced that Carl Jobst highlights here. And I'd like to go over the whole situation here with you and show you some highlights from it. I'm also going to put a link to Carl's video in the description so you can check it out in its entirety. Overall, I'm just super excited about this and extremely happy to see where it goes from here because this should 100% put the absolute kibosh on all of his lawsuits since the truth is now known. No matter, like, if you disregard all of the other evidence, this one is completely irrefutable, I think, and that's great. Billy Mitchell, man, he just can't stop collecting these L's. Just to quickly bring everyone up to speed here, Billy Mitchell, video game player of the century, also punching bag for the regular show, where he even tried to sue them for making fun of him in an episode, has come after many people legally for all kinds of defamation cases. And the core of it boils down to people accusing him of being a cheater. And I'm going to go a step further. They're not just accusing him like, allegations of cheating. They have caught him being a cheater. But he has always maintained his innocence. And that's where it all stems from. He still claims he's never cheated, and anyone that makes fun of him or says otherwise gets a nice fat lawsuit from Billy Mitchell. Cooked up in the deepest pits of his basement, I guess. I'm pretty sure he writes them himself, and he takes it as far as it can go. Have you been sued? Billy Mitchell has still not sued me, and I have made fun of him fucking 50 times by now. I don't know why. I actually feel left out. I feel like I'm not part of the cool kids lunch table here because Billy Mitchell won't sue me. He is suing Carl because Carl used a meme of Billy that made fun of him and insinuated he was a cheater. Carl used a meme. I have point blank called this absolutely disheveled, drunk-looking man a cheater a million times. Point blank. And he won't come after me? Asshole. I'm gonna sue him for refusing to sue me.
How is it possible that he performed them at a live event in front of hundreds of people if he faked it and actually played on an emulator? The videotapes must be fake, or are not his actual gameplay, or should just be ignored, because he has real people that say he really did it, and they saw it happen, so it must be legit. As Billy said in his lawsuit, if everyone is lying, it must be a conspiracy akin to that of the Kennedy assassination. But here's the...
Wait, what? Pardon? What was that? Thus, Twin Galaxies' case essentially rests on a conspiracy nearly as broad and untenable as the Kennedy assassination. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he writes these himself. What self-respecting lawyer is going to sit down and put that in text? Who? Who would do that? Like, I'm surprised he doesn't go into, like, the Zapruder film. What they faked here is akin to the Zapruder film. And in fact, the moon landing, too, while we're at it.
The videotapes were the only tangible evidence these scores ever happened, so that's all anyone had to go off. Aside from the tapes, it was just people saying that it happened, which really doesn't cut it. There was no footage of Billy actually playing. There was nothing to indicate that he was even there, or...
I'm sorry to keep pausing so frequently, it's just such a wacky case. He still believes that he shouldn't be accused of being a cheater, because even if those tapes are faked or whatever, people saw him do it live and have verbally said, he did it. That's fucking useless. I can get people together and say that I grew 5 inches. But then if you see me on camera and I'm 5'6", I can't just be like, no, that doesn't make sense. That's as untenable as the Kennedy assassination. This is all fabricated. It's fraudulent. Look at all these people that said that I grew 5 inches. It's fucking worthless. It's a fucking worthless statement, and I don't know if Billy's too stupid to realize that, or if he truly does believe it. Because why would anyone take you at your word? I could say I got the high score on Donkey Kong. I got a 15 billion. And then I could have everyone in chat say, yeah, Charlie got a 15 billion. Should Twin Galaxies put that on their website and make me the world record holder? I don't have any video evidence of it, but I have a ton of people that said I did it. The answer should be a resounding no. It's so silly. It's so silly.
That he played at all. That is, until now. For the first time in 15 years, photos of Billy Mitchell at one of these events where he claims to have achieved one of his world records have surfaced. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. These photos absolutely destroy Billy's case. He is done. There is no more doubt Billy will lose his lawsuit. These
This is already so fucking good. So these photos destroy the lawsuit. Why? The referee who looks really sad to be there? Did he let the cat out of the bag? Man, that tie is mean though. Look at Billy Mitchell's tie. Holy shit, Captain America over here.
These photos do more damage than anything that has come before them, and I'm not exaggerating. Even if you disregard all of the videotape evidence, Billy's world records would still be disqualified, and he would still be banned for lying just because of these photos. So how is that even possible? Let's find out. I really hope you enjoy.
Man, this would be worse than if his sex tape leaked,
Now,
I guess.
legends, I'm super excited because the second is a 1.05 million point score Billy achieved in 2007, which is known as the mortgage broker's score. This is because he supposedly achieved it at a mortgage broker's convention. The videotapes for both of these scores show footage that isn't legitimate. This is a fact, and it's why he was banned. But aside from...
It's been a while since I've seen this. It is inarguable that he was cheating, by the way. It's not allegations. It is legitimately inarguable. I can't remember. Did we go over the entire evidence package on stream at some point, or am I having a fake memory right now? Maybe we did it on the podcast. Because I do remember going through at least a good chunk of it. Quite a while back. Number 3 is just a single sentence. During the event, Billy played in a very large convention room and interacted with and performed in front of thousands of people, myself included. And? It's... Oh, this is all one person's statement. Oh, I thought this was 5 or 6 different statements from different people. I was like, what the fuck? There's nothing more there. This is one person's account. Okay. This is part of the whole thing from her statement. I was like, Jesus, come on. I don't know if I feel like going through the whole thing. But I guess a written testimonial claiming that they saw it, that's all you need. Surely there's no such thing as lying. And many of the members I work with are still active members now. All this information is very available, very public, and quite memorable. Sheila, why are you writing that with so much attitude? You're not the one on trial for cheating or anything. That was a very aggressive sign-off.
This leaves 3 witnesses that say they directly saw him get the world record. The first is from a guy called Richard Mallion. He says he watched Billy's score reach beyond 1 million points and that he saw him achieve his targeted score. Richard is actually a childhood friend of Billy's. In fact, he appeared opposite Billy in the school yearbook. But let's not hold that against him. While it is common for friends to lie for each other, let's not assume that's what happened. He has a nice suit and he has a nice watch.
Very
no
trustworthy.
one who dresses this well could lie. So I'm going to put that into the yes column. For the no column, there isn't much I've found out about Richard that really concerns me, except for this super tiny detail of him pleading guilty to conspiracy, securities fraud, money laundering, and criminal contempt in 19...
Could have happened to anyone, and in fact, I'm going to tell you what happened. He was set up by Twin Galaxies. They knew there was a connection between the Duck and Billy Mitchell, the King of Kong, and they tried to attack everyone in Billy's circle. Complete misunderstanding, very fabricated, not real.
1996 after an FBI
I
sting
wouldn't hold it
operation.
against him.
I mean, it's probably nothing, but it would be remiss of me if I didn't include it. Maybe this is being too judgmental, but I'm going to go ahead and add to the fact that he was charged again with fraud in 2019 by the SEC and had to pay back $750,000.
Once again, Carl, this was a setup. My man, this was Twin Galaxies trying to take out the witnesses. You know, no different than Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, where Scott had to go through all the ex-boyfriends and shit. This is Twin Galaxies going through all of the witnesses right now. You can't hold it against Richard here. He did nothing wrong.
In 2021, Richard was unfortunately arrested for conspiracy to commit fraud. Look, he has just not been lucky when it comes to fraud. He keeps getting caught. I, for one...
This picture here... Now I know it was a frame job, and I know it's all false, because they're doing my man Richard so dirty with this mugshot here. Like, it looks like he's fucking skydiving. Like, all the skin's being pushed towards the back of his skull here. It's like he's fucking melting. Where does the neck start and the chin end? Oh, man. Is he laying down and they took this picture? What is going on here?
Keeps getting caught. I, for one, do not hold this against him. When I look at this table, I see 3-3. It's pretty
That's
easy.
tough. That's a
Personally,
toss-up.
I'm leaning towards trusting the guy, but you let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, so Billy's first witness is a bit sketch. Who's number 2? Billy's second witness that says he saw him
Oh,
get
God,
it
it's
is
Todd Rogers.
Oh boy, this is not going well. Okay, hit me with number 3. Surely we're going to get a winner.
He's probably not going to touch on Todd Rogers. Todd Rogers is another notorious cheater of these old game high scores. He has a whole saga of his own. I don't even think I could do it justice trying to summarize it here. But that is so poetic that one of the other witnesses is fucking Todd Rogers. That's amazing. This is like a team of Avengers that he has for witnesses.
The third witness that says they saw Billy get the score is Kim Mahoney, who is also Todd Rogers' girlfriend. I'm going to be completely honest here.
Coincidence.
I'm getting the impression that Billy's witnesses may not be entirely trustworthy. There's Billy and Todd posing with a couple of people. There's a camera that was recording Billy play, even though that footage doesn't seem to exist for some reason.
They left the lens on.
Posing
Lens
again
down.
with the thumbs up. Maybe this is just after Billy got the world record. I have to admit, everything here looks pretty legit, and oh my god, what is that?
I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not knowledgeable enough. What is it? Is it copyright 2023 on there?
That joystick is not an original Donkey Kong joystick. This arcade machine does not have original unmodified Donkey Kong arcade hardware.
Oh,
This
jeepers.
is an original Donkey Kong stick. It's got a big black ball and a short column. The
Oh,
stick on
wow.
Billy's arcade is a tall stick with a smaller ball, and it's obviously red, so the stick has been changed to something else.
Easily explainable. This machine was considered so legit that they had to change out the stick. Otherwise, because people were fighting each other to compete for high scores on it because it was so fucking real. So the stick just got worn out from overusage, but the machine, that's the only thing that's been changed. That much I'm sure of. Or, you know what, that's a good point. This could have been a special edition cabinet that was sent to Billy Mitchell by Nintendo themselves. They were so happy that the King of Kong wanted to use an arcade cabinet that they made that they gave him a special red stick. You know, for the red, white, and blue, because he's such a patriot, obviously. Easily explainable.
On top of that, it appears to be an 8-way stick. Now, the original Donkey Kong stick is 4-way, which means it can only go up, down, left, and right. The game can be played. If you want to steer barrels while on a ladder, you have to stop and hold left or right, because you can't go up and to the side at the same time. But with an 8-way stick, you can continue to climb ladders while steering barrels by using the diagonals. With an 8-way stick,
That's
you can do
interesting.
things you can't do on an original arcade, which is
I'm actually just even shocked that he played the game. I thought this was going to prove that Billy Mitchell's never even touched Donkey Kong in his life. So honestly, at this point, I have a little more respect for Billy knowing that he just used a cheating device in order to have a better score, like to play better. I thought for sure it was going to come out that he just doesn't even know what Donkey Kong is. He's never touched the fucking thing in his life.
which is why they are banned. So not only is the stick not original, which was totally banned, it looks like an 8-way stick, which is extra banned. His entire lawsuit against Twin Galaxies is based on the premise that he played on unmodified original arcade hardware, which is categorically not true.
True,
Not only
very
from
wrong.
the videotapes, but now from the photos as well. And his lawsuit is full of lies where Billy claimed the hardware was unmodified. Everyone just got caught out, big time. And it gets...
How did they even let this happen? Surely they would have recognized the stick, right? This man dedicated his entire life to Donkey Kong and his high score. He did one thing that isn't even that cool, getting a high score in Donkey Kong, and he let it define his entire fucking life for the last 24 years. And he wouldn't recognize that the stick isn't original? Surely he would have done everything in his power to keep these photos buried. Fucking burn the photos, for God's sakes. He would have had to know that people would be able to easily see that it's not an original stick. He didn't release it. I get he wasn't the one that released it. What I'm saying is, I'm sure he would have done everything in his power to stop it from ever coming out. Like, legitimately burn these photos. But maybe that was just beyond his control at this point. Like, who released it? Well, maybe Carl will mention it here in a moment. I'm just shocked he wouldn't go immediately to the event. He knew the photos were being taken. He was literally giving thumbs up with Todd Rogers in front of the cabinet. So he knew there were photos. And he would have known that people would have recognized that as a not legitimate, unmodified stick. So why would even A, let photos be taken, and B, not go to the event and, like, fucking scrub those archives?
You may be wondering why Billy would lie about something that can so obviously be disproven.
That's what I was just talking
the
about.
answer is that Billy didn't know these photos existed. In
What?
fact, the entire Donkey Kong community didn't know these photos existed. They were only made public recently, and not by Billy Mitchell. These photos were never made public, and they were only retrieved now by directly contacting the organizers of the convention.
That blows my mind. He literally gave a thumbs up multiple times with Todd Rogers in front of that machine. Who was he giving the thumbs up for? He knew pictures were being taken. What did he think happened to that? What? Wait, what? This is a cool angle of Billy, though, I will say. His hair looks even more like a Lego block in this angle. But I still just can't believe that he wouldn't remember photos being taken because he posed multiple times for them. I'm also surprised that it took this long for someone to contact the event staff from the mortgage thing. I feel like a lot of people would have thought to do that a long time ago, but maybe just now they finally found the photos.
I cannot wait until this goes to trial, and
Wow.
you best believe that when it does, I'm going to cover it. I'm excited, and I think you should be too, because this is going to be a lot of fun. As always, thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
This is also great news for Carl. This is a big Carl W as well, because he is currently getting sued by this goofball, this goober. And as everyone knows, the #1 defense against defamation, which is what Billy Mitchell is coming after him for, is the absolute truth. And now, it seems, it has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, he cheated. Thus, the case against Carl is fucking kaput. It really just goes to show you, sometimes the simplest means and, like, the simplest explanations are the most effective. Hey, so you got this at a mortgage convention, what year? And where was it? Why don't I just give them a call? Maybe they have photos. Hey, you guys have any photos? Oh, we do. Yeah, you want them? Yes, please. Bang. And now it's all over for Billy Mitchell's case. Aren't frivolous lawsuits illegal? Yeah, but it feels like a lot of people get away with doing that. He's made like an entire fucking career off of frivolous lawsuits. Has he actually won any lawsuits? My man, I don't think he's even had one of his lawsuits make it to a trial. They get thrown out so quick. But it's still expensive for the people he sues. It's still a headache. It's such an absurd thing to ruin your life over. Alright, let's not get carried away. Billy Mitchell didn't ruin his life over this. He's not gonna go to jail. He just has a legacy of being a fucking joke of a person and an insufferable asshole for all the frivolous lawsuits he tosses at people that make fun of him or point out that he's cheated. He hasn't ruined his life. The man has a fucking hot sauce deal, for God's sakes. None of which I think he earned, by the way. He has one accolade, and it's high scores at Donkey Kong. That he fucking cheated. So in fact, he got dealt a really lucky hand. He got one thing that he's never let go, and he's somehow found success from it. Might want to tone it back before he sues you. He can't anymore. He literally can't. Because the truth is now abundantly clear.
It's fantastic. And yeah, a few things have happened since my last video. Obviously, my music video came out with Oliver Tree. Here's a little clip. Wow, what a banger. And now honestly, you should check it out. Like, it's one of my favorite songs. And for some reason, Oliver's worst or most hated songs. I'll let you lot be the judge, innit? Also, my doc came out, KSI in real life. The response has been overwhelmingly positive, which is mind-blowing. I guess it's kind of cool to be able to just be so real and honest. I guess people be inspired by it, people be touched by it, and people to respect it. I know there was a lot of things that people could relate to in the doc, whether it's, you know, my relationship with my brother, or my relationship with my parents, or my relationships in general, you know, mental health, or trying to find a balance between working hard and playing hard. There's so many other things that was mentioned in the doc. But yeah, I've received so many messages from people who have watched the doc. Probably made my day. Hopefully, if I can inspire people to, you know, be open and let their true emotions out, I think that's it. Because if anything, that'll just make for a better world in general. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's good to be human. I don't want to just be seen as some perfect being. I legit want you to treat me like friends. You know, I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We're just equal in this relationship. But anyway, this is getting hella soppy. Let's do the try not to laugh in it.
Actually knew a girl in West Belfast. This is like a true story. She had 5 sons, and they all were called Brian.
Brian.
No. I'm not.
What?
5 sons, and they all were called Brian.
Brian. Brian.
No. I'm not.
What?
She got pulled in by Social Security,
Right.
because they were like, "You've 5 sons called Brian. Why would you do that?" And she went, "I don't get what's the big deal. My daddy was called Brian, and he was the only man I can trust, and that's why they're all called Brian." And they were like, "I know, but how do they have their own identity, right?"
Yeah.
And she said, "They all have different surnames because of all different daddies."
Oh! Oh! Oh my god. Wow. Wow. Fair enough.
Hey Ben. I'm alright. Yeah, I'm pretty hungry. I just
Nice.
Is she still in the car with you there? Yeah.
Damn.
Devious, nah.
Devious. Hey, she got Prime. Oh no, that's not Prime. What is going on? What? No. Nah, brother, nah, hold on. Who the hell is behind this camera? Are you laughing or are you choking? Jesus. Bruh. What a laugh. No oxygen was used in that laugh. My man didn't breathe in at all.
Nah, she wanna know if she look like Beyonce. Does she look like Beyonce?
Why do you keep saying to the left, man? Come on, this common more sense. Beyonce says. Oh man.
To the left, to the left.
Jesus.
No, not Beyonce. Who? Serena Williams.
Serena Williams.
No, not Serena Williams. No. You just unique. Man, you should call yourself unique.
Unique.
Yeah, careful with what I said on them.
Unique.
God damn, that nigga voice was deeper than mine. Do I look like Beyonce? Yeah. Nigga, I had to hurry up and think of some cool shit to say. I wanted to say Westbrook. But nah.
Westbrook.
A little bit too strong.
He's stupid. If he said the wrong thing, it should be like, oh no, I didn't like that. To the left, to the left, to the right. To the left, to the left. Oh man, she would have squashed him.
Isaiah, say it in your girl voice. Why can't I have to
Hey,
keep
look
asking
away.
you?
How you doing?
Ain't no way I'm good.
How you doing? Oh, shut up.
Oh my god, how are you doing? Oh my god, hey! I don't know, is that convincing? Hey, do you want a piece of me? Do you want to get this ass?
I got shot in 2001. The bullet was hurting. It would like when it rained, it would hurt.
When it rained?
Yeah,
Really?
Because it's metal on it. So it hurt a little bit. But it got
Still
close to the
stuck in
surface, so I went in and they said, yeah, we're ready to take it out. So I had to go get the x-rays. And at the time I was doing social work. And everyone I was working with was like older Christian women and stuff. So I came back with the x-ray and they all wanted to see it. Like, let me see it. They wanted to see the bullet. And I had looked at it. It was big, one of the big x-rays. So I pulled it out and put it on the window. And it was like, you could see my entire limp penis. I got shot right here. So all these Christian women gathered around, looking at the bullet, and my just dead limp dick. Because the whole thing shows up in the X-ray. They were like, "Oh,
Damn!
Thank God it was at least bigger than the bullet, though, you know?"
Oh man, yeah, man. I mean, I don't think there's a bullet in this world that is bigger than my penis. Oh wow, that's a pretty big bullet. Yeah, I still don't think it's bigger than my penis though. Still don't think it's bigger than my penis though. Yes, when I have sex, the women die. I literally obliterate them. My penis is just that big.
Explosion prank on my Pakistani mom.
Mom, so I'm trying to warm my cereal up, but look, the air fryer is not working.
Oh
No,
my
I don't know
God.
how to flip and make it work. Look, it's not switching
But
on. I'm here.
you son of a donkey! Who told you to touch my hair? Let me get home and watch what happens. Oh my god, this boy drives me crazy. What shall I do? He's going to take me to my grave. To my grave.
I'm here, come home quick. I'm here.
I'm coming right now. I spent so much money on that machine. I left you for 5 minutes and you burnt the house down. I've got my huge slipper. Oh my god, what? I've got my huge slipper with me too. Watch.
This delivery driver was about to deliver a package when he got scared by a huge cat. His reaction is hilarious.
This is the fattest cat I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. Garfield, this is a big ass cat. I thought this was a fucking bobcat when I walked to their door. And the mother king meow, he's howling.
Tyler, what?
I just want Fortnite!
Come here.
What?
That's kind of cute.
Oh my gosh!
Aww.
I can't believe it!
Aww.
What happened?
I just want Fortnite!
Let's be honest, he was definitely playing against bots. But still, this is very cute.
Hey, Granny, did you know that if you hold a make-believe salt shaker in your hand and you shake it into your mouth, you can actually taste salt? Try it.
Get out of here.
For real, try it.
Why is she? That's the dumbest thing.
I don't say so.
You didn't do it long enough. Try again.
Oh my god. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Relax. Someone's gonna like this though. Someone in this world is gonna be like, yeah. I accept the challenge. I have seen my mission. I will burst to this. You all laughed at me. Well, who's laughing now, huh? Who's laughing now? He just got sperm all over his hand.
What's your accent? You're from Nigeria. This is getting interesting, bro. What's your name? Ike. How disappointing is that, sir? When they named you, they didn't know you were going to be albino, bro. Oh, let me read the other shit. Okay.
Ain't no way.
I think I'm gonna need an Asian to step in on this one, bro. This is wow. Do y'all not got vowels out there, bro? Ikponwasa. Ikponwasa. You ready for his middle name? Actually, I'll give you his last name first, right? Ogiemien. Ikponwasa. Ogiemien. Middle name? David.
David.
I took a shit and I put my back against the wall.
What?
So when I shit, when you shit outside, it's not going to be a decent shit. It's going to be like explosive. So when I got up, it looks like somebody got shot in the head. There was shit all behind me on the wall. So she's sitting there with her little French poodles and her little chihuahuas, and she's looking at the wall like, what the fuck happened there? And all of a sudden, she actually walks up close to it and squints and looks down on it and looks around and runs in the house. I'm watching all this. I can't breathe. And now I go to the computer because my wife's very decent. And I'm sitting there forever.
Wait. If he's that close to the house, why is he shitting outside? On the wall, bruv. What? I need more context. What got you to that situation?
And now I go to the computer because my wife's very decent. And I'm sitting there forever. And then my wife comes in and she goes, were you home all day today? I go, yeah, why? She goes, I just had a conversation with Susan. She wanted to know if you heard anything in the backyard. Because some animal took a shit back there.
Some animal. I am that animal.
We're getting closer to his return, and the closer we get to him, the faster things are going to happen. The faster the healings, the faster the deliverance, the faster...
It's gonna be a penis, isn't it? Oh, okay. Oh my! Oh, come on, brother! Come on! You can't be down that bad. Damn! All right, fair enough. Man's completed. I didn't even say words, and he got applause.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all niggas suck, bro. Get off the fucking game. Get off the fucking game, please. Hold on, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, my nigga. I am a god and I've transcended, my nigga. Stay beneath me, you peasant. You are a dumb bitch. Hold on, nigga. Don't talk to me, nigga. I am above you, nigga. You sit beneath me, nigga. Now pick up my coins, you broke ass nigga. And sweep my feet, nigga. Clean my shoes, nigga. Get your bitch in check.
Dante!
I fucking hate this game, I'm off.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Don't turn yet. Don't turn yet. Hold on.
A blind date.
Hold on. Is her thing off? Mm-hmm. Alright. Now I'm recording from this angle just so I don't miss anything, any reactions. Alright, guys? Yeah. Okay, go.
Bruh. I just linked it.
Okay, so I'm watching this fight, right? And this gotta be the funniest thing ever. Watch this. Watch how he get in. Watch. Boom. Watch. He's looking at him like, who the fuck? What the And the referee, look at the referee. So you know something's wrong when the referee is looking at you getting whooped like this.
Oh my. Oh my. Hey yo. Hey, that kid's moving fast. Wow. Alright, well, that is that for today. Thank you for watching.
Hey everybody, just wanted to give you an update on the schedule for Dead Meat and the kill counts. I know that the Scream recounts were supposed to begin this Friday, and I know that they've been pushed a few times before, so I hate having to push them again, but they're going to have to be. Perhaps you'll remember in August of last year, 2022, I had to change the schedule around a little bit. I think I had to push the Chucky recounts maybe. That was because there was a health issue with my dad that we found out about then. And today I learned that the situation has gotten worse. So I don't really have a time frame or a timeline for what I have to do when, but I'm gonna have to take care of some stuff, and probably gonna have to go back to Michigan again to deal with that. So we're gonna be pushing the recounts to February right now. You know, as maybe that'll change again. If it does, I'm really sorry. We'll try to have something out in the meantime on Fridays, just so YouTube doesn't think that the channel's dead or whatever. So maybe just try to watch whatever good comes out, just so we don't get shoved down. I really wanted to just hit the year going strong and have a really strong year, but you know, shit happens. So I'm gonna be dealing with that, and we'll be back to things as soon as we can. In the meantime, just please try to be understanding of the situation and know that, like, I fucking love Dead Meat and I love making kill counts and I love this job. I'm not just like getting lazy or whatever with them. I really love this. It's just that things happen, and there are important things sometimes that have to be dealt with, and I have to deal with them. And again, I don't know how long I'll be dealing with things, but that's the situation. So thank you so much for a great 2022, and just thanks for always being there for me, for us here at Dead Meat. Like, our longevity is very much appreciated, and it's all because of you, the people who watch. So
You know, normally my production hell videos tend to focus on one particular project that was notoriously difficult to get made, either because of creative differences behind the scenes, issues with the cast and crew, difficult shooting conditions, or just all-round generalized insanity. The history of filmmaking is littered with stories like that, and not only can they teach us valuable lessons about how not to make movies, but they're also pretty damn funny to point and laugh at. But there are some screw-ups so monumental, so unfathomably huge that they can't be confined to a single movie or TV show, and instead spill out to encompass an entire franchise spanning more than a dozen projects over a span of almost a decade. I'm talking, of course, about DC on film, better known as the DCEU, the grand plan that was going to rival Marvel, which turned out to be one of the biggest creative and commercial disasters, not to mention wastes of talent in all of Hollywood history. It was an epic tale of greed, envy, creative mismanagement, alliances, backstabbings and hubris. So settle in with a glass of something smooth and intoxicating, because the drinker's about to tell you the story of DC on film. Now, the idea for a shared cinematic DC universe wasn't exactly a new one. In fact, way back in the late 1990s when Warner were still trying to get a Nick Cage Superman movie off the ground. And check out my video on that disaster if you want to know how it's possible to blow $30 million without shooting a single frame. There was already talk of a possible crossover with the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, possibly even leading into a Justice League team-up. One can only imagine the delights of Nick Cage teaming up with the campiest Batman since Adam West. Anyway, needless to say, nothing came of this grand concept, and Warner quickly abandoned it to focus on solo Superman and Batman movies. But hey, nothing rejuvenates old ideas quicker than someone else making money out of them, and the meteoric rise of the MCU in the early 2010s was enough to get Warner executives thinking once again. Hey, this whole shared universe thing seems to be working out pretty well for Marvel. We should have one of our own. Great idea, friend. But we need to get it up and running fast because Marvel are way ahead and we've got a lot of catching up to do. Agreed. Bring me someone who can make that happen. And as it turned out, the man they picked for the job was Zack Snyder. Now, I think in retrospect, most of us would probably agree that Snyder, well, how can I put this diplomatically, might not have been the optimal choice for a role like this. But 10 years ago, it was a pretty different story, and in a lot of ways, he actually had a lot to recommend him as a director. He'd had a string of well-received movies, he excelled at producing dark, gritty, violent films that would stand in sharp contrast to the bright colours and chirpy humour of the MCU, and in theory, all of this would allow DC to position itself as the cool, mature and edgy alternative to Marvel. Now, you might think that Snyder would have been a logical fit to direct a dark, gritty, violent Batman movie, which would have been right up his alley. So of course, Warner did the exact opposite and put him in charge of a Superman film. Man of Steel turned out to be the movie that would launch the new DC universe on film, and while Henry Cavill's casting was generally well received, Snyder's brooding, conflicted take on the character wasn't, and Man of Steel earned a lukewarm reception at the box office. But don't worry, worse was yet to come. A lot worse. See, Snyder's plan was to do a sequel to Man of Steel first, and then introduce Batman based on The Dark Knight Returns, followed by a team-up with the other members of the Justice League in an epic two-part storyline that would culminate in the death of Superman's story from the comics. Fair enough, but Warner executives weren't happy with this plan. Marvel had already had their first big Avengers team-up film that went on to make $1.5 billion, and naturally they wanted a piece of the action. There wasn't time to introduce each character in their own movies and patiently build up the franchise like they should have done. They wanted results, and fast. And so, Man of Steel 2 morphed into Batman vs Superman, a film that would introduce not one but two of the biggest storylines in DC history, as well as being a backdoor intro for Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg and The Flash. And if this all sounds like a lot of work to put on the second movie in a franchise, well, that's because it was. You don't need me to tell you that Batman vs Superman was a shit show. It was too long, too bloated and convoluted. The conflict between the two leads didn't make much sense. The tone was bleak and depressing, and the introduction of Wonder Woman felt tacked on and distracting. The failure of Batman vs Superman sent shockwaves through Warner Brothers, who were convinced that they had a mega hit on their hands. It was clear to the studio heads that Snyder's bleak, somber, grimdark take on the franchise wasn't working out, and they needed to change course drastically. Their movies needed to be lighter, funnier, and shorter. Basically, they needed to be just like the MCU, the very thing that they were supposed to be against. And the casualties began to mount straight away. Suicide Squad, which was pretty much in the can by this point, was subjected to extensive reshoots and re-edits in a desperate attempt to shorten the length, inject more humour, and ramp up the pace. The resulting Frankenstein's monster of a film was practically disowned by director David Ayer, who was rightly pissed off at having his creative vision flushed down the pan, and heavily criticised by fans who to this day are campaigning for the original cut to be released. The only point of hope for DC on film was the surprise success of Wonder Woman, which had been largely insulated from the fallout of Batman vs Superman and enjoyed a relatively trouble-free production. And its success cemented the idea that the only way forward was to ditch the bleak nihilism of the Snyder movies and focus more on optimism, warmth, heart, and positive heroic characters. Unfortunately, one good movie wasn't enough to keep the franchise going, and an even bigger disaster was on the horizon. Justice League was intended to be the biggest movie of the franchise so far, bringing in all the major players for an epic battle that would eclipse even the Avengers. The only problem is that Warner were now in full-on panic mode after the failure of Batman vs Superman, desperately trying to course correct, and their attempts to get Snyder to produce a shorter, funnier, and lighter cut of the film were a bit like asking Sarah Silverman to make something that isn't shit. And when personal tragedy forced Snyder to drop out of post-production, Warner seized the opportunity to bring in a man who could give them their own personal version of the Avengers. Imaginatively enough, the man who made the fucking Avengers in the first place. It was a desperation move by a studio lurching from one disaster to another, groping for a solution to a problem that they didn't fully understand. And even if they did, Whedon was given neither the time nor the resources to properly fix the movie. An overweight and alcoholic Ben Affleck was brought back in for hastily organised reshoots, and no amount of makeup and wardrobe could hide the fact that he was out of shape and disinterested in the part. Henry Cavill, who was in the middle of filming Mission Impossible, was refused permission to shave off his moustache, resulting in possibly the most hilariously terrible CGI job in history. Ultimately, the best that Whedon could manage was a bodge job that satisfied nobody, ballooned the budget to over $300 million, and resulted in a Frankenstein's monster of a film that was very clearly two different movies made by two different directors, awkwardly forced together. Justice League was an absolute failure commercially and got savaged by fans and critics alike. By this point, the DCEU was pretty much in freefall. Plans to make a solo Batman movie with Ben Affleck fell apart, and Ben used the opportunity to quietly exit the franchise. There were also growing rumours that Henry Cavill was out as Superman, with no plans to develop further movies with him. And it wasn't just actors that were dropping out either. John Berg and Jeff Johns, the two executives put in charge of the franchise after Snyder's exit, were also shuffled out the door after the Justice League farce. Replacing them was Walter Hamada, who had an
Yo!
Oh! Yo!
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 Can on. I saw a trans person.
Yeah, I see those quite often.
Yes, but I'm not used to seeing them, and it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's understandable. You know?
Yeah.
I have sympathy for you.
Appreciate it.
Ugh. Alright, time to jam some Battle Royale with the boy.